This is the journey you must embark on to get rid of your emotional scars. Scars are pretty much a natural part of our lives as humans, whether they happen to us as kids, playing, or in some other way. Almost everyone has had to deal with scars at some point or the other. A scar is a story. It tells of an injury and the healing process that followed that incident. It is supposed to be a good thing because it shows that the human body has the ability to heal itself. Scars, however, become sources of shame or embarrassment when they are visible and leave upon their bearers an appearance that puts people off. While this holds true for open and visible scars, there are other forms of scars that are not visible but have the tendency to produce the same embarrassing effect, and these are emotional scars. These scars are reminders of hurts, pain, or anguish suffered in times past. They are therefore walls built to prevent such hurts from reoccurring. You see, it's a natural instinct to protect oneself from harm and injuries. However, the way that you go about protecting yourself is the separating line between a healthy act and destructive behavior. Emotional scars are really harmful to their bearers. For one, they alienate their victims from the beauty and dynamism of life. A woman who experiences abuse at the hands of her husband or a male figure earlier on in her life may choose to never open up her heart to love again. Children who grew up in abusive homes might also despise adult authority growing up. When they become adults, they may find it difficult to share meaningful relationships with their peers because of suspicion and fear of being hurt. A man who suffers infidelity at the hands of his wife may end up with a distorted view of all women. He might end up as a casanova, as a way of getting back at the women folk. In all of these, the end results are usually more pain, frustration, and heartache. Emotional scars also lead to unhealthy self-estimation. Rebels, stubborn teenagers, are really not warlocks trying to end the lives of their parents or any adult authority that they are in contact with. More often than not, they are seeking attention from their parents or teachers and those to whom they are accountable to. Most of these teenagers feel small on the inside, and so they try to intimidate and bully others to appear tough. The disadvantages of emotional scars abound, but the most disastrous effect of an emotional scar is the inability of those who have been emotionally scarred to become self-fulfilled people, fulfilling their quota to humanity and living out their lives to the fullest. With an embittered heart that is scared to interact and still hurting, it is almost impossible to live a rich, full life. Emotional scars, however, do not need to get the better of us or rid us of the joy and beauty of life. People who have suffered deprivation, pain, lack, and other things that had the ability to put a dent in their souls have found a way to rise above the pain and shame and become strong people with enviable lives. There are a few things to do to heal emotional hurts, as we would be looking at shortly. 1. Be too big to feel threatened. Start out by developing a thick or thicker skin. The world is full of insensitive people. Sometimes people go all out to hurt others, but in some cases, they are not even aware that their words or actions can hurt others. A person who grows up with stable health may joke about a sickle cell carrier and the crises that they have had to endure from time to time. This kind of person has no first-hand experience with this unique pain, and so it is easy to mock it. In the same way, not everyone has been through the things you have been through. If they attack the aspect of your life that you are ashamed or hurt about, you should not cave in or retreat to a shell, because these people are not out to deliberately hurt you. They are only speaking or acting from a place of ignorance. It is therefore great wisdom to make excuses for their ignorance, and not try to find out if they are being intentionally hurtful or not. 2. Develop a self-reliant personality. What this does for you is it makes you pretty much impervious to external pressure. People who easily cave in usually put up a strong and defensive front to avoid being taken advantage of because they know that they are vulnerable. For instance, people avoid salesmen most of the time because they know that if they pay any attention to these men, they will have to part with their money. In the same way, people with self-reliant personalities have enough emotional fortitude that they don't need the approval of others to make themselves feel good about themselves. They have taken away or greatly reduced the power of others to determine how they feel or choose the direction of their lives. 3. Relax away emotional hurts. All forms of emotional injuries that leave scars are really a function of our response. When people are mean or do hurtful things, they present their end of the hurting equation. However, it is entirely up to us to determine how we respond to the hurts thrown our way. We can choose to respond with anger, bitterness, or lash out at the ones who hurt us. On the other hand, we can choose to be immune to the venom being spewed by the other party and laugh it off. No reaction of ours is in the hands of our assailants. It is entirely up to us. The 3 attitudes we looked at here will help us to deal with emotional scars. However, when these scars are old and have almost become the guiding path to all of our life decisions, a different approach must be adopted. These old scars are usually so deep-seated that you might erroneously believe that they are a part of your makeup. Refuse to believe this life, and instead do the things that we would be talking about shortly. Avoid grudges like a plague. An unreleased hurt or grudge is more devastating to the person holding a grudge than to the person whom the grudge is being held against. It short-circuits joy, peace, and even your health. Although it is not something you can physically see, it can have such a damaging effect that can be likened to cancer. If you learn to avoid grudges early enough, you would not have to deal with old and stubborn emotional scars much later. Practice and give forgiveness freely. Forgiveness can be likened to a medical scalpel for surgically removing old scars. In forgiving people, do not attach conditions to it. Do not attempt to forgive only without forgetting. That would be an incomplete job, and the effects of your unreleased hurts will show up eventually. Also, do not expect people to become deserving of your forgiveness. They might never get to that point. You must realize that forgiveness will serve you better than the person or event that you are releasing forgiveness to. Forgive yourself. Your hurt may have been caused by your mistake or carelessness. If you are benevolent enough to forgive others, then be sure to extend the same to yourself. People carry on with self-degradation, self-loathing, shame, and other hurtful patterns because of mistakes that they probably made. Emotional scars do not have to be the fault of others. They may be caused by us ourselves. If you will ever stand a chance at attaining your fullest potential, then the things that you have heard in this video are some of the very first things to do. In our next video, we would delve a lot more into how you can become a continuous improvement of yourself until you have grown large enough to unlock your real personality. If this is something that you want to know about, then be sure to stick around for our next video. Thank you for watching.